Hello and welcome to Historical Humans Reads, where we take primary sources and bring them to your screen. I'm Colum Coleman, and today we are reading from A True Story by Lucian of Samosata. Composed in Greek during the 2nd century CE, A True Story is considered the first work of science fiction ever written. A True Story is a satirical rendition of ancient Greek and Roman travelogs, which, while purporting to be the real and true accounts of their authors' travels, often contained obvious exaggerations, absurdities, and wholly fictitious stories. In order to call out this disingenuous sensationalizing of a non-fiction genre, Lucian purports in his True Story to sail to the moon and do battle with the sun, among other ludicrous things. Today, we'll be reading the opening lines of A True Story. With that, let's begin. Even as champions and wrestlers and such, as practice the strength and agility of body, are not only careful to retain a sound constitution of health and to hold on to their ordinary course of exercise, but sometimes also to recreate themselves with seasonable intermission and esteem it as a main point of their practice, so I think it necessary for scholars and such as to addict themselves to the study of learning, after they have traveled long in the perusal of serious authors, to relax a little the intention of their thoughts, that they may be more apt and able to endure a continued course of study. And this kind of repose will be the more comfortable and fit their purpose better if it be employed in the reading of such works as shall not only yield a bare content by the pleasing and comely composure of them, but shall also give occasion of some learned speculation to the mind, which I suppose I have effected in these books of mine, wherein not only the novelty of the subject, nor the pleasingness of the project may tickle the reader with delight, nor to hear so many notorious lies delivered persuasively and in the way of truth, but because everything here by me set down doth in a comical fashion glance at some or other of the old poets, historiographers, and philosophers, which in their writings have recorded many monstrous and intolerable untruths, whose names I would have quoted down, but that I knew the reading would bewray them to you. Cestius, son of Cestiochus, the Nidian, wrote of the region of the Indians and the state of those countries, matters which he neither saw himself nor ever heard come from the mouth of any man. Iambulus also wrote many strange miracles of the great sea, which all men know to be lies and fictions, yet so composed that they want not their delight. And many others have made choice of the like arguments, of which some have published their own travels and peregrinations, wherein they have described the greatness of beasts, the fierce condition of men, with their strength and uncouth manner of life. But the first father and founder of all this foolery was Homer's Ulysses, who tells a long tale to Alcinous of the servitude of the winds and of the wild men with one eye in their foreheads that fed upon raw flesh, of beasts with many heads, and the transformation of his friends by enchanted potions. All which he made the silly Phaeacians believe for a great sooth. This coming to my perusal, I could not condemn ordinary men for lying, when I saw it in request amongst them that they would be counted philosophical persons, yet could not but wonder at them, that writing so manifest lies, they should not think to be taken with the manner. And this made me also ambitious to leave some monument of myself behind me, that I might not be the only man exempted from this liberty of lying. And because I had no matter of verity to employ my pen in, for nothing hath befallen me worth the writing, I turned my style to publish untruths, but with an honester mind than others have done. For this one thing I confidently pronounce for a truth, that I lie. And this, I hope, may be an excuse for all the rest, when I confess what I am faulty in. For I write of matters which I neither saw, nor suffered, nor heard by report from any others, which are in no being, nor possible ever to have a beginning. Let no man, therefore, in any case, give any credit to them. This anchoring on a time from the Pillars of Hercules, the wind fitting me well for my purpose, I thrust into the West Ocean. The occasion that moved me to take such a voyage in hand was only a curiosity of mind, a desire of novelties, and a longing to learn out the bounds of the ocean, and what people inhabit that farther shore. For which purpose I made plentiful provision of victuals and fresh water, got 50 companions of the same humor to associate me in my travels, furnished myself with a store of munition, gave a round sum of money to an expert pilot that could direct us in our course, and new rigged and repaired a tall ship strongly to hold a tedious and difficult journey. Thus we sailed, for a day and a night, with a prosperous wind, and as long as we had any sight of land, made no great haste in our way. But the next morrow, about the sun rising, the wind blew high, and the waves began to swell, and a darkness fell upon us, so that we could not see to strike our sails, but gave our ship over to the wind and weather. Thus we were tossed in this tempest the space of 19 days together. On the 40th day, the sun, upon a sudden breakout, and we descried not far off an island full of mountains and woods, about which the seas did not rage so boisterously, for the storm was now reasonably well calmed. There we thrust in and went on shore, and cast ourselves upon the ground, and so lay a long time, as utterly tired with our misery at sea. In the end, we arose up and divided ourselves. 30 we left to guard our ship. Myself and 20 more went to discover the island, and had not gone above 3 furlongs from the sea through a wood. But we saw a brazen pillar erected, whereupon Greek letters were engraven, though now much worn and hard to be discerned, importing, "Thus far traveled Hercules and Bacchus." There were also near unto the place 2 portraitures cut into the rock, the one of the quantity of an acre of ground, the other less, which made me imagine the lesser to be Bacchus and the other Hercules. And giving them due adoration, we proceeded on our journey. And far we had not gone, but we came to a river, the stream whereof seemed to run with as rich wine as any made in Chios, and a great breadth, in some places able to bear a ship, which made me give more credit to the inscription upon the pillar, when I saw such apparent signs of Bacchus's peregrination. We then resolved to travel up the stream to find where the river had its original, and when we came upon the head, no spring at all appeared, but a mighty great vine trees of infinite number, which from their roots distilled pure wine, which made the river run so abundantly. The stream was also well stored with fish, of which we took a few, in taste and color much resembling wine, but as many as 8 of them fell drunk upon it. For when they were opened and cut up, we found them to be full of lees. Afterwards we mixed some fresh water fish with them, which allayed the strong taste of the wine. We then crossed the stream, where we found it passable, and came upon a world of vines of incredible number, which towards the earth had firm stalks and of good growth. The tops of them were women, from the hip upwards, having all their proportion perfect and complete, as the painters picture out Daphne, who was turned into a tree when she was overtaken by Apollo. At their fingers' ends sprung out branches full of grapes, and the hair of their heads was nothing else but winding wires and leaves and clusters of grapes. When we were come to them, they saluted us and joined hands with us, and spake unto us some in Lydian and some in the Indian language, but most of them in Greek. They also kissed us with their mouths. But he that was so kissed fell drunk, and was not his own man a good while after. They could not abide to have any fruit pulled from them, but would roar and cry out pitifully if any man offered it. Some of them desired to have carnal mixture with us, and 2 of our company were so bold as to entertain their offer, and could never afterwards be loosed from them, but were knit fast together at their nether parts, from which they grew together and took root together. Their fingers began to spring out with branches and crooked wires, as if they were ready to bring out fruit, whereupon we forsook them and fled to our ships, and told the company at our coming what had betide on to us, how our fellows were entangled, and of their copulation with the vines. We then took certain of our vessels, and filled them, some with water, and some with wine out of the river, and lodged for the night near the shore. This has been an excerpt from a true story on Historical Humans Reads. If you enjoyed this video and would like to hear more excerpts from original texts, please subscribe to be notified of the next one. If there's a work you would like to hear, be sure to like the video and leave a comment listing it below. Thank you for listening.